And it is Marco Morelli on pole, accompanied on the front row by Jesus Rios and Brian Uriarte. On row 2, it's Gonzalez, Esteban and Zani. And behind them, on row 3, Cruzes, Salmela and Danish. On row 4, O'Gorman, Pratama and Pugliese. Row 5, Mouncy, Bellon and Belford. On row 6, Mitani, Abruzzo and Michiello. Behind them, on row 7, we've got Monognane, Boggio and Ramersdorfer. On row 8, it's Brown, Fomera and Nicolis. On row 9, Singapong, Uchiumi and Daniel. And on the back 2 rows, we have Farkas, Tietzi and Bertola. And then on row 11, it's Shonrock and Truchot.
So just about to get underway then for the warm-up lap here in Valencia as the curtain comes down on the 2025 Junior GP season. And Connor, I'm going to ask you yet again, who's going to win?
I feel like these questions are very unfair when we've got a field of this quality. I think I might edge towards what I said previously whilst remaining on the fence and point out that Marco Morelli has been unstoppable so far over the course of this weekend in Valencia, and he showed us that again this morning in race 1.
Yeah, he was absolutely incredible. I mean, a 6-second plus gap. It's hard not to look at Morelli as the overwhelming favourite here, but of course if Uriarte can get away well and go with them, then he'll be in with the chance. I thought Rico Salmela had some good pace as well through the opening race. Would have maybe caught that podium battle if it wasn't for that long lap penalty. So just to go a little bit left field, I think I'm going to go for the flying Finn, Rico Salmela, to take a win here.
His maiden win.
Well, his first win of the season, yes. Yeah. It'll be his first win of the season, and it'll solidify third in the championship for him. Of course, Uriarte has already got the gold medal sewn up. Morelli has 1 hand and 4 fingers on the silver medal. He has a 23-point advantage over Rico Salmela. Whatever happens, Morelli will finish on the podium. And then the battle for bronze continues. Salmela does have a slight outside chance of overtaking Morelli in second if he wins, but he has a 5-point advantage over Joel Esteban in fourth. Jesus Rios is also in contention after his podium earlier today. He's 8 points behind Rico Salmela, and Casey O'Gorman has an outside chance of getting himself among the top 3.
No one you can rule out there at all, I think.
Yeah, all riders capable of sticking it on the podium. Let's see what happens then. 16 laps of Junior GP fun coming your way, just about to get underway as riders roll up to their grid spots. The green flag waves in the background, the red flag leaves the track, eyes are on the lights. We have the first set of lights coming up and we're ready to go. We are racing. Marco Morelli gets a good start. Uriarte gets a better one. He fires himself right onto the rear wheel of the number 97, does the Junior GP champion. Superb start from the number 51. David Gonzalez off to a good start as well. Pushes himself into the top 3 from the head of the second row. Joel Esteban sits in 5th place, but for how long? Because Jesus Rios is coming through on Esteban. Esteban down to 6th with Rios up to 5th. But Morelli has got the start he wanted, while Uriarte is up into 2nd position. We have a faller at turn 3. The yellow flags are out. Not quite sure who it is just yet. We'll bring you an update once we know ourselves.
It might be Nicolis, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, the number 37 of Marianos Nicolis seems to have an issue there. The Australian rider. Disappointment for him early door. So let's see what happened here. Oh yeah, he's crashed out straight away. Disappointment then. His race is run before it has even begun. Let's see if he will rejoin. But back out front, it is Morelli leading the field as he has every lap here in Valencia so far. But Uriarte is paying close attention to him. David Gonzalez is hot in the heels as well.
Yeah, absolutely. David Gonzalez got away well, it seems, as well, chasing down Brian Uriarte. And Uriarte will be pleased that, unlike in race 1, he's not battling anyone here because he was chopping and changing for the immense majority of our opener here in Valencia with Jesus Rios. This time around he seems to be able to just have a bit of space, and he's got to try and take advantage of that if he's going to have any chance of chasing down Morelli.
So round they come to knock off the opening laps here in the Junior GP season finale, and it's much as it has been this weekend. Morelli at the head of the grid as we've lost. Is that Veda Pratama who's gone down in the background? I think it is. Disappointment then for Pratama.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he was hoping for a good result to send him off to Moto3 next season. The young Indonesian rider is a serious talent, an Asia Talent Cup champion, of course, in 2023, if I am not mistaken, and a pretty dominant winner that season as well. Unfortunately, though, hasn't gone his way in Junior GP, hasn't broken onto the podium this year. Red Bull Rookies Cup, though, he was excellent throughout the campaign. So one to watch in Moto3 next season.
As is Jesus Rios, who's just behind David Gonzalez there, looking to make a move, or it looked like that, but he'd be biding his time. And just behind there, we do have Adrian Cruzes and Rico Salmela as well, battling early on. And we've got
Salmela's out.
Salmela is down.
Out. And that's got consequences in the championship standings, because Salmela currently occupies P3 in the championship standings. Is that crash going to cost him a chance of the bronze medal? If I'm not mistaken, it should put Joel Esteban or Jesus Rios now, I think. Joel Esteban slightly behind Jesus Rios. So we'll have the live standing very shortly to bring you confirmation, but I think it will be Esteban who sits in third position. Uriarte then not letting Morelli escape early doors here. Jesus Rios works his way through on David Gonzalez. You called it earlier, Connor. Rios is on the charge here, and it's a 1-2-3 as you were from race one.
Yeah, turn one, they're going into turn two now, but Rios absolutely one to watch over the course of this race. Now that he's got a bit of space ahead of him, he's got to try and maintain his calm as he's got Gonzalez just behind. But the real key to this race is Uriarte managing to keep the pressure on Marco Morelli, because he's going to want to win in style.
Yeah, absolutely. He just hit the fastest lap of the race there, Uriarte, and that's what happened to Rico Salmela, unfortunately. Unfortunately for the Finn.
I think you might have cursed him there, because if I do recall correctly, 5 minutes ago you were suggesting that he was going to be walking away from Circuit Ricardo Tomo with a gold medal.
The commentator's curse strikes yet again. My apologies, Rico.
And there goes Uriarte.
And there goes your commentator's curse. Marco Morelli fighting back though. Marco Morelli not giving up the lead there. That's the first time he has been challenged for the lead here in Valencia, and Uriarte fired his way through, coming through turn 11. Morelli fighting immediately back. Yeah,
Morelli knows he's there now, though. This is going to be a wonderful battle between these two young riders. And just a bit further back there, we are seeing David Gonzalez there, who's moved into P3.
Yeah, Jesus Rios, Joel Esteban, David Gonzalez then in that battle just behind. So Jesus Rios actually, as you can see there, tied on points with Joel Esteban for the bronze medal, but Rios does have it by virtue of a better winning record as things stand. But of course, things can very much change in the blink of an eye in Junior GP. We all know that. So, eyes on Casey O'Gorman, who leads Adrian Cruzes in the battle for 6th position. Can either of these riders get themselves onto the coattails of David Gonzalez just ahead of them? Just checking the lap times. Lapping the same as the riders ahead of them, so they'll need
Laura Schonrock's down as well, I think.
And is that Laura Schonrock who is out of the race? Disappointment for the number 2. He has rejoined, but a crash there at turn 4. So we've had a few early fallers as the sun begins to set here in Valencia. Yeah, down at turn 4, front end washout.
Very frustrated.
Fair to say he is disappointed with that one. Marco Morelli then doing the front running once again here. Brian Uriarte challenged him briefly for the lead a few corners ago, about a lap ago. but hasn't shown him anything since. Jesus Rios settling into a comfortable third with Joel Esteban, David Gonzalez in chase. Then there's Casey O'Gorman. Is that David Gonzalez who's gone down?
Like
it is David Gonzalez. Gonzalez is out of the running here. Yeah, the number 11 is out of the podium battle. What a disappointing way for Gonzalez to finish his season. Again, another rider who has crashed but quickly rejoins. So the back of the field now has the likes of Marianos Nicolas, Rico Salmela running at the back, and David Gonzalez will be joining them. Laura Shunrock as well in there too. Crashing out of 5th place.
Rios getting closer there to our leading duo of Morelli and Uriarte. He just recorded a 1:37.462, which is faster than both the current race leaders. Their little battle may be playing into Rios' hands if he can catch up and just try and take advantage of it. Does go wide there though.
About a second, that's about a second's gap there, as you can see on the left-hand side of the timing. 0.913. As Uriarte looked like he had a slight moment there at the end of the picture. So, Morelli, Uriarte, Rios, as you were from race 1, the standout trio down here in Valencia, once again doing the front running. Joel Esteban looking to go with them. Joel Esteban 1:37.8 last time around. Rios dropped in by 0.4 of a second. What about this time as we come through sector 4? The battle for 5th, currently led by Casey O'Gorman. O'Gorman looking for a strong finish to his Junior GP career as he steps up to the Moto3 World Championship next year with the 658 Quadricorsi. Number 67 has a few bike lengths advantage then as he comes over the line over Adrian Cruces and Leonardo Zani.
Yeah, he's going to have to keep his calm though with riders of their like behind him. Both Cruces and Zani have been impressive this year, especially Zani, of course. Can't forget that he did get that win earlier in the campaign.
Yeah, number of riders here. This is the battle for 11th, led by Zen Matani over Leo Ramastorfer. Sullivan Mountsie in there looking to make a few moves. But it is Zen Matani, the number 32. He's looking to end the season here with a top 10. About 7/10 of a second, I think. About 5/10 of a second now behind Evan Belfort. So Matani beginning to chase down a top 10 finish here. Back out front though, no problem so far for Marco Morelli. Still leads Brian Uriarte. The gap then between Uriarte and Jesus Rios has come down to about 0.1 of a second. So he's chipping away at it, is Jesus Rios. Third place as things stand would be good enough to seal 3rd in the championship ahead of Joel Esteban for Rios. So you'll have to see how much he is willing to risk here in the season finale.
Yeah, Mitani's doing incredibly well. Of course, started from P16, moved up 4 spots, and qualifying really proving to be a bit of an issue for him, because you get the feeling that if he started a bit further up the grid, then maybe he would have been able to maintain the pressure on the riders that are currently leading. But Uriarte, as you see them going through turn 1 now, doing so well.
It looks like Uriarte was maybe going to line up a move into turn 2, but it seems the boat ran off circuit slightly there. It was looking like he was trying to get the better drive out of turn 1 to maybe fire one up the inside of turn 2, but nothing going for him on this occasion. Plenty of time left in this race, of course. 1:37.557 from Uriarte was the fastest lap last time around, I believe, or his own fastest one. Jesus Rios in the 1:37.5s, as was Marco Morelli. So a pace above these riders, the only riders in the 1:37s last time. So Uriarte, has he got anything for Marco Morelli coming around turn 8, maybe into turn 11? Rios slowly chiseling away at that advantage as he a little bit of a wobble coming around turn 8 there. So nothing going this time. Morelli calm and composed out front. He has been absolutely sensational this weekend, the young Argentinian. Pole sitter with half a second to spare in his back pocket, and then race winner in the morning race here in Junior GP with about 6.5 seconds to spare in his back pocket. And this is the most pressure he has had all weekend or all day, and he is managing it quite well, it has to be said. Brian Uriarte did make a move for the lead at turn 11 a few laps ago, but Morelli responded in kind almost immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the duel between these two is absolutely sensational. You can see Cal is kind of watching on there from the outbox box.
Yeah, star of the future, the next star coming through the 72-hour box system.
Rios and Cruces then with track limit warnings.
Yeah, one to watch for Jesus Rios as he tries to keep pace. 1:37.4 last time around though for Marco Morelli, the fastest lap. A 1:37.4 from Uriarte, also 1:37.4 from Jesus Rios. These three guys are in a world of their own in terms of pace. The next fastest rider going around was 1:38.1, so over 6/10 of a second, nearly 7/10 of a second to Casey O'Gorman, I think it was. No, indeed it was Leonardo Zani. So they're just in a whole different world. This is what Marco Morelli had in race one. Look at this moment here. He's out of the seat, is Brian Uriarte. But this is what Marco Morelli had in race one. Just unmatchable pace. But this time around, he is being matched by Uriarte and by Jesus Rios. Rios does have more ground to make up, as a little bit of a gap does open up between the 97 and 51 for the first time in this race. But Uriarte has slipped to 5/10 of a second ahead of Jesus Rios, so Rios is gaining at them.
Yeah, Rios is edging slowly but surely towards these leading two. You'd have to hope that he's capable of matching their pace for what's left of this race, because he's going to be using those tyres, those Pirelli tyres, quite significantly as he tries to catch up. But there he is, confirmation that he's just set the fastest lap, 1:37.427.
Yeah, superb stuff. He's really coming into his own now, is Jesus Rios, around the halfway stage of this Junior GP race here in Valencia. The number 54 looking to close the gap to Morelli and Uriarte ahead of him. It's about 6/10 of a second on our timing screen, 7/10 on the graphic. Morelli and Uriarte run a little bit wider, but it does look like, it looks like the 54 has visibly closed up by a bike length or two in the last lap on the two riders ahead of him. So this looks like it's going to be a three-way fight, and there we have confirmation. Lap 8, he took nearly 2/10 of a second out of Uriarte.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from the Spaniard as he looks to get closer, and as you mentioned there, we are seeing him visibly get closer to the back wheel of Brian Uriarte. There it says 0.472 seconds between the two Spaniards.
Yeah, it's down to 4/10 of a second now. The gap between Rios and Uriarte. Rios by far has the best pace here, 1:37.4 last time around, the only rider in the 1:37.4s last time around, and that is the fastest lap of the race. What have we got coming for us this time around? 1:37.3 from Jesus Rios. Absolutely sensational pace from the Fee Network Mir Racing rider. He is now closing in fast on Uriarte and Morelli. A 1:37.3 from Rios. The other two riders were in the 1:37.4 mids. So he is quite a bit quicker per lap coming around. Sullivan Mounsey then making move on Leo Ramersdorfer a little further back, but Mounsey runs it wide there. Just ahead of him is Giulio Pugliese and the number 52 of Evan Belford, both of whom fighting for the final top 10 positions. Would be a strong result for both riders as they sign off the season. Is that Jesus Rios, and is a pace that is just too hot to handle. Can he rejoin? Because if he rejoins, he will be in point scoring positions, but he's brought some gravel onto the track there. That is Adrian Cruces, who is behind him. So he's joined in 6th position. So that is a costly mistake from Jesus Rios. We were complimenting, we were praising him for setting such an unbelievable pace, and indeed it proved to be unbelievable as he crashed out. Disappointment. That is a podium gone up in smoke for Jesus Rios, and it may be P3 in the championship there. We had a quick glance at the Fee Network box. A lot of disappointed faces in there, including that of David Almanza, the Moto3 rider, who of course has plenty of experience in the Junior GP category. So that means Morelli and Uriarte have got a 5-second advantage or so over Joel Esteban, who is now our P3 runner. Casey O'Gorman in 4th position, Leonardo Zani in 5th. Esteban running really wide there. Time and time again, riders are going very, very wide at turns 1 and 8. But there's a podium on offer here for Casey O'Gorman, it has to be said. And all the bronze medal position, or all the bronze medal hopefuls, better said, they're not enjoying the best of days here. Joel Esteban now, if he finishes here, he will win or take the bronze medal at a canter. Jesus Rios still sits in 4th in the standings, but Casey O'Gorman is in with the chance here. Rico Saamela was in with the chance and was holding on to the position, but he's also crashed out of contention. So David Gonzalez as well was chasing down a podium. He's crashed out, so it's been a pretty crash-strewn afternoon, it has to be said, with about 5.5 laps to go.
Yeah, it's been dramatic to say the least. There's still about a second, 1.3 seconds between Joel Esteban and Casey O'Gorman, but O'Gorman has performed fantastically. He's got to maintain his calm if he's going to try and reel in Esteban here. These leading two have been absolutely sensational from the start. Maybe you wouldn't have said that Brian Uriarte would be able to match the pace of Marco Morelli. Well, that would have been to underestimate our champion here in Junior GP. Brian Uriarte has managed to keep the pace with Marco Morelli from start to finish here. He's not giving him a moment's peace, and those two are going to be going at it right until the last. You can be sure of that. As Esteban pulls through there, Gorman does look like he's getting closer.
Yeah, he runs very wide there. Gorman had a little bit of a wobble as well coming down the front straight. So can Casey O'Gorman or Leonardo Zani close the gap to Joel Esteban in P3? It currently stands at about 0.8 of a second. Last time around, O'Gorman was lapping into 138.3s. Joel Esteban was lapping into 138.8s. So, Connor, you said it does look like it's coming down. Their proof is in the pudding there. He had about half a second to spare, 0.6 of a second. What about the opening 2 sectors here? And he is quicker again, is O'Gorman. They matched each other going through sector 1, but he's about 0.2 quicker going through sector 2 is Casey O'Gorman. I was also going to mention that the number 97, Marco Morelli, looked like he had opened up a bit of a gap. He was out to 2.5 of a second, but Uriarte has closed that up.
Yeah, we've seen him do that time and time again over the course of this race, something he wasn't able to do in race 1. This time around, every time Morelli looks like he's opening a gap, he'll just see Uriarte right there behind him again at the next corner. So Uriarte doing so well to maintain the pace, maintain the pressure, and maybe even make the move here as we go into turn 1. Not quite close enough there between our 2 race leaders for Uriarte to make his move there.
Yeah, nothing going that occasion, but just showing him the front wheel, as here we see now the battle for the podium. The final podium place is beginning to really heat up. O'Gorman and Zani have caught Esteban. There's only a couple tenths, about 0.4 of a second, I think, between those podium hopefuls. Back out front though, Marco Morelli is still in the lead. We saw some nervous faces there in the MLab box.
And rightly so, when you've got a rider like Uriarte behind you. Of course, if Marco Morelli were to win here in Valencia.
Here we go. Uriarte.
There it is.
There's the move. He's been building to that over the last few corners. Uriarte, what does Marco Morelli now have in response? Coming through left to 9, right through 10 and around turn 11. Can Morelli cut back on the inside? It looks like Uriarte's gone defensive and closed any possibility of the inside line, but here he comes through 12. Nothing yet for Marco Morelli. Turn 14 is his next big opportunity. He was slightly onto the green there. But will Morelli make a move? He's done all the front running. This is the longest he has not been in the lead down in Valencia, and Uriarte's going to hold on to the lead coming out of the final corner. What about going into turn 1? Morelli into the slipstream of the number 51. 3 laps to go here in the season finale. Can the Argentinian fight back and get himself ahead?
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Morelli if he can just get close enough. It doesn't look like he is, but Morelli's not going to enjoy seeing Uriarte from behind now after having spent so long ahead. And now Casey O'Gorman is looking like he was going to try and make the move there on Esteban, and they go side by side. Is it O'Gorman who leads? It is. O'Gorman now moves into P3. Can he make it stick here ahead of Joel Esteban?
Yeah, the inside line there from O'Gorman proving pivotal. He had the advantage coming down the straight, but they both went wide at turn 1. Now Casey O'Gorman has got himself up onto the podium. What a superb result. This would be for the Irish rider on his farewell. Joel Esteban then shuffles that down to 4th. It should still be good enough for the bronze medal in the championship chase. Leonardo Zanni, though, is also eyeing up a little bit of silverware for himself here in Valencia. You see the position progression there from Casey O'Gorman, up 7 places. He's got phenomenal pace here late on with 2.5 laps remaining. We've got yellow flags out in turn 2.
It's Kiatsek Singapong who's gone down.
Kiatsek Singapong, disappointingly for him, now is out of the running. So, eyes on this battle for P3. It's really heating up now, the action in both the battle for the victory and the battle for bronze here in Valencia. O'Gorman's got a couple bike lengths to spare over Esteban, with Leonardo Zanni in P5.
Yeah, it looks like Zanni has been waiting for the right moment as well, whether it's going to come now or he's still got a bit of time left. But Zanni, again, a phenomenal rider, and as O'Gorman has very much managed to catch up with Joel Esteban. When is he going to find an opportunity to try and make his move, get ahead of Joel Esteban? But for the time being, it's still Esteban who occupies P4.
Yeah, some more nervous faces there in the Fee Network box. There could be an attack coming here from the number 57. It looked like he was about to line up the inside move at turn 2, but nothing going for Zanni that time around. Got a little bit out of shape going in on entry there. So it's as you were in this battle for P3. Casey O'Gorman's got a couple bike lengths advantage and is looking cool, calm and composed with just over 1.5 laps remaining. Back out front, it's still Brian Uriarte over Marco Morelli. Nothing to separate that duo, the standout riders of the 2025 European, the Junior GP Championship, I should say. So, a fitting finale, Connor, here from what has been an incredible season in Junior GP.
Yeah, absolutely. And if Brian Uriarte is able to maintain his lead over Morelli, he would deny him 3 wins on the bounce, which of course Uriarte was able to achieve at the beginning of the season in both Estoril and Jerez. So that'd be a little thing that Uriarte would like to maintain, I'm sure. His record of consecutive wins.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, Uriarte over Morelli with 1.5 laps to go, not even. We're coming over the last corner now, and it's Morelli who has fought back and taken the advantage. The number 97 has gotten himself ahead of Uriarte at the final corner. Last lap then of the Junior GP season. Marco Morelli leads the champion, Brian Uriarte, through turn 1 to go. Uriarte has no move in the offing. They both run it very wide. Marco Morelli still holds the advantage, but is there a move coming up the inside from Uriarte at turn 2? There absolutely is. Can Morelli get him on the cutback? Nothing going for the Argentinian on the cutback. Turn 11 is his next big opportunity. Perhaps he'll do something before then. Perhaps he'll do something before then, won't he? At turn 4 and 5. I'm getting ahead of myself. I forgot about half the turns. Brilliant stuff from Marco Morelli. The number 97 is back in. Turn 6, Angel Nieto corner. Holds it steady through there. Emilio Alzamora and the 72 Airbox team watch on nervously. Now, turn 8. Brian Uriarte. Has he got anything for the Argentinian out front? What about in the battle for P3? Has Joel Esteban got anything for the 67 Casey O'Gorman coming through turn 8? I think he was going to try and move up the inside there. Turn 10, turn 11 then. Nothing going here for Uriarte just yet. Turn 12 and 14, his next big opportunities. Esteban has indeed taken P3 away from Casey O'Gorman back at turn 11. So, O'Gorman will try and move surely at the final couple of corners, overtaking hotspot through 12 and 14. Marco Morelli, though, has he got this one covered? Uriarte coming to wider line there, looking to cut back. They touch rear wheel and front wheel, but it is going to be Marco Morelli, surely, who takes the victory here. The number 97 goes back-to-back over Brian Uriarte. What about the battle for bronze? Joel Esteban looks to have it covered. Can Casey O'Gorman get out of the slipstream and take a podium? Nothing going. Joel Esteban takes P3 in the race and the championship. So there you have it. Marco Morelli, back-to-back race winner, 3 in a row for the Argentinian.
Absolutely breathless stuff here in Junior GP. What a last lap. Marco Morelli and Brian Uriarte battling it out there for the top spot on the podium here in Valencia. It could have gone either way. Uriarte gave it absolutely everything he had, but it wasn't enough to match what Marco Morelli has done here in Valencia over the course of this weekend. He's been absolutely sensational, and he can proudly wave that Argentine